You know someone who is always late. Maybe that someone is you.
They set alarms, make promises, still miss the start. Wild, right?
Today, you will see the psychology that quietly drags minutes away. We are talking about chronic lateness across work, school, life patterns. Not occasional delays from traffic, a repeating gap between intention and arrival.
You have probably noticed the same people drift in, smiling, slightly breathless. Here is the thing. Lateness is rarely about caring less.
It sits where attention, prediction, and habits collide under pressure.
So where does this pattern come from in the mind and calendar? Start with a classic bias, the planning fallacy, named in 1979.
Daniel Kahneman and Amos Tversky described it in Cognitive Work, 1979.
We predict best-case timelines, then reality adds hidden steps. Think about that.
Evidence came hard in 1994. Buehler, Griffin, and Ross, Journal of Personality and Social Psychology. Students confidently forecasted completion dates, then finished later, again and again.
You remember doing that with essays, moves, or packing for trips?
Here is where it gets messy. Attention changes how time feels.
Zakay and Block, 1997, Current Directions in Psychological Science, explained an attentional gate.
When attention is on tasks, fewer temporal pulses are counted internally. Intervals feel shorter, so 3 minutes appears like 1.5. Multitasking before leaving steals attention away from the clock itself.
You tidy a counter, answer one message, then the bus is gone. Another layer of bias. Tally Sharot, 2011, Current Biology, on the optimism bias. We expect things to go slightly better than statistics suggest they will.
So we tell ourselves, shoes on in 30 seconds, keys by the door. Fair question. What about body clocks and personal timing preferences? Horne and Ostberg, 1976, International Journal of Chronobiology, built the morningness-eveningness scale.
Evening types wake later, peak later, and struggle with early fixed appointments. You have likely seen this on Monday mornings after a late Sunday.
Now, before the comment section explodes, context matters beyond psychology too. Transit reliability, caregiving, shift work, and health constraints shape punctuality windows. Still, certain traits and mechanisms consistently predict tighter or looser timing. ADHD research adds another angle on late arrivals and time control.
Noreika, Falter, and Rubia, 2013, Neuroscience and Biobehavioral Reviews, synthesized timing deficits.
Prospective timing and time estimation skew, making future intervals harder to gauge. Russell Barkley's 1997 model links ADHD with impaired self-regulation across time. That creates difficulty initiating transitions, like stopping a task to leave.
You have probably noticed the hardest part is leaving on the first minute. Time perspective also nudges people toward either planning or present pull. Zimbardo and Boyd, 1999, Journal of Personality and Social Psychology, validated time perspectives.
A stronger present hedonistic profile correlates with impulsivity and weaker future planning.
Translation for lateness: the now feels louder than the next appointment. Here is where it gets interesting. Cultures teach different clocks. Edward T. Hall, 1983, described monochronic versus polychronic orientations in social time. Monochronic settings value strict sequencing. Polychronic settings flex tasks and relationships. Robert Levine and Norenzayan, 1999, Journal of Cross-Cultural Psychology, measured pace of life. 31 countries differed in walking speed, clock accuracy, and postal speed. Faster cities punish lateness quickly. Slower cities absorb it with fewer ripples.
You may have felt this when traveling. Same watch, different rhythm.
Paradox time. Chronic late people often know they run late. Buehler's 1994 data showed underestimation persisted even with prior misses in memory. People update a little, then slide back to hopeful estimates next round.
Another twist. Attention to time lowers under cognitive load or emotional strain. Zakay and Block's framework predicts heavier tasks compress subjective minutes for the doer. Meanwhile, the waiting person's empty attention expands those minutes painfully. You remember waiting in a lobby where every minute felt doubled.
Okay, what actually helps, without shaming or magical thinking? Use outside view estimates, per Kahneman and Tversky's advice, then pad transitions.
Translate tasks into observed durations from last week, not wishful targets. Borrow attentional tricks. Set leaving alarms tagged to first action, not departure. Example: shoes on at 7:40, door locked at 7:45, bus at 7:48. Evening types: shift demanding tasks later when possible. Protect earlier exits. ADHD strategies, per Barclay's model, chunk transitions and externalize time with timers. Cultural mismatch awareness helps too. Name expectations before the calendar conflict starts. Quick recap of the science you heard across this timeline today. Planning fallacy, 1979, and Buehler's 1994 underestimation evidence in JPSP.
Attentional gate, Zakay and Block, 1997, current directions in psychological science.
Optimism bias, Sharot, 2011, current biology, bright forecasts outrunning averages. Chronotype, Horne and Ostberg, 1976, morningness, eveningness shaping timing stress.